Dad's in the hospital. I thought it was just a spider bite. Me too. He lied.
I get asked on a daily basis, how am I always so happy and confident? I wasn't ready to talk about it until now.
This is so embarrassing, I know, but I try and be as real as I can with you guys. This is what happens when you're constantly working. The only thing that looks good in this room right now is that. Hazel! Here's my tripod, my ring light, recent clothes that are sent to me, my vanity with all my makeup. What do you know? My closet's not entirely that bad.
I miss you, Dad.
For those of you who don't know, my dad passed away when I was 13 years old. My dad passed away from drugs. I just want everyone to know everything about me. When people are like, oh, you want to go smoke weed or do this? I'm like, no, I don't. And I would get made fun of a lot for it. And I'm like, why? Because I don't want to go do something. They're like, you've never smoked anything before?
No. I've never done a drug in my life.
And they're like, well, why? And then I'm like, because my dad died from drugs. And then they're like, I recently just had his death anniversary. Growing up, my dad was always like in and out of the picture, always MIA. My dad was a genius. He could go from having $2 in his bank account from being on the streets because of drugs to like $2,000 in a day because he was just that smart.
It's funny how the smartest people could do the dumbest things.
He had a good heart.
Jerry Valducci.
What's up?
Jerry Valducci, what do you have to say?
We're all grateful. Merry Christmas.
People ask me, how am I so confident? And not only is it because of my parents, my mom and my stepdad, but he's my father, he raised me. Also, it was my dad, my biological father, because I remember one time I didn't want to go to school because these girls were being mean. And he goes, why don't you want to go in there? And I was like, because the girls are being really mean to me. And he's like, tell me you're not the baddest bee. Yeah, my dad telling me this. You're not the baddest bee when you walk into that school. And I'm like, no, I'm not. He goes, yes, you are. Yes, you are. And you got to act like you are, and then people will start believing it. And I'm like, no, Dad, I'm really not. And he goes, yes, you really are.
It didn't take long for me to realize that addiction is bad, but it doesn't make somebody a bad person.
You know, he wouldn't let me feel bad about myself. And I think that's why I'm so big on, everyone just feeling good about themselves. I'll probably keep this out. This is looking pretty good.
I've been trying to find positives in every situation, even if it is my dad's death.
Okay, we might have a problem. Hazel, you're on my face.
Hazel.
Creativity has been my only medicine.
Now I'm going to clean the flexion. This is where I record my demos before I send them over, and then we'll hit the studio and record the songs that I write. Since I have a cat, I always have lint. Or should I say fur? I'll clean that up later. All three of my parents had a very good, healthy relationship. And if they didn't, they filtered it very well for us kids. But I remember my stepdad was telling my biological dad, hey, you should go and move down the street from your kids, because he lived an hour away from us at the time. He was like, you should go and move down the street from your kids so you can see your kids more. Like, I just thought that was like super sweet. So my dad actually ended up buying the house right down the street, walking distance from us. And we got to see him for a year and a half before he passed. So I guess what you can say is, like, everything happens for a reason. My dad was in and out of our lives. Him not knowing he only had a year and a half left of his life.
God works in mysterious ways.
How do you feel about tonight, Balducci?
I don't know yet.
I love you, Balducci.
I'm gonna talk about how we ended up getting the call, or as I should say, my mom got the call. I had to restart because people on Snapchat keep calling me, and people are like, well, why don't you just block it? I'm like, because I like talking to you guys, and sometimes I answer, but sometimes y'all call at the wrong moment. Sorry. I love my bears, all of you guys. I'm sorry. Okay, Anna, this was you, so shout out to you, Anna. My dad was dating this girl. He would provide for her and her 16-year-old daughter, sent her off to college, bought her a laptop, you name it, and in return, she would give him drugs. I remember being asleep on our couch, and I just it was very faint, because you know how things are foggy right when you wake up, but I heard my mom and my sister saying, Dad's in the hospital, we have to go now. I ended up being told what my dad told the doctor. It's just a spider bite, but let me tell you, it was an injection from drugs that ended up hitting the wrong vein, and it caused a flesh-eating virus and spread throughout his body. My dad would have lived if they amputated his leg right away, but they didn't know it was going to spread as fast as it did. It was a Friday. I was about to wake up to get ready to go to school, and I heard my mom crying in the hallway. Her and my stepdad, my dad, but I'm just trying to say that to separate the two for this video, ended up calling us downstairs, and it's so weird. It's like it was yesterday. God. My mom, I just remember, kept rubbing her legs. She was like she didn't know how she was gonna tell us, but she ended up telling us, and she just said that the doctor called and it was fudge. That it was time for us to go down there to the hospital and say our goodbyes. And I just remember my legs, I couldn't feel my legs. It was really weird. The nurses were by his side, crying. And I'm like, gosh, you nurses, doctors, everyone who deals, in anything in life, but the medical field, firefighters, anybody, gosh, your job, you have to witness that, if not every day, probably every week, if not every week, probably every month, if not every month, probably every year, you know? Here's another sucky part. We went down there, had to say our goodbyes. They told us that our dad was going to die, and then he still hung on for 2 weeks, and then the doctor came out and told all of us that he thinks he's going to be fine, he's going to pull through. So just imagine being 13 years old, just saying your dad's going to die right now, and then it's dragged on for 2 weeks, which is great, hope, great, but it's you're stressing for 2 weeks, and then they say he's going to live, and then in a couple days he just dies. And it was a Friday. We obviously didn't go to school that day, but my mom gave us the weekend to mourn, and I think that's why I'm so strong today, is because I had 2 days to mourn my dad's death. And my mom said, my mom's tough. She loves us, but she believes in raising thick-skinned kids, which I agree with 100%. Because even dealing with hate on social media, it's kind of meh, I've dealt with other things. I genuinely don't care of that. But it's because of my mom that I'm like that. So I had to go to school the following Monday, and I just remember when I cry, my eyes swell up. I don't know about you guys, but my eyes swell up so bad. So my eyes were really big on that Monday, and I really didn't want to go to school because I didn't want everyone to see me crying. But anyways, I just wore sunglasses in the classroom, and our teachers were notified, of course. Oh, I have to put my mic over here. Time to show this.
I believe everything happens for a reason. God has a plan, you know? There's Hazel on my frame. Here are all my clothes. I'm about to hang them all up because these are clean. That's why they're on the bed. I don't want to throw clean clothes on the floor. So now it's time to organize these, and I will color coordinate them on here. Ooh, peep me.
By the way, my clothing rack is new. The clothes that are on it are the ones I currently use for videos, or if I'm doing a sponsored video with clothes that are sent to me. So, and luckily I like to pick out pink, so it just kind of decorates my room even more. Oops, wrong way. I've been trying to get into dresses lately. I really like them on me, and I think I don't give myself enough credit of how cute I look in them. I really like them. Some people are like, you're too confident. It's like, you know what? I'm sorry you're not. Like, being confident is a great feeling. And the best part is, anyone can be confident. It starts with here. I promise you. My adjusts go here. This goes over here. These frames are supposed to be hung next to those. I was really proud of these photo shoots. So yeah, I'm gonna hang them up. I don't care what anybody says. I'm proud of myself and I'm gonna hang them up. My mom taught me you have to always be strong. Life does go on and it will stop for nobody. I wonder what Hazel is thinking right now. I know my dad was nowhere near perfect, even though he was hardly there for us because of his addiction. I know he was still a good person. I'm really proud of myself for never trying drugs, yet alone never, ever smoking weed. I know this is a very heavy subject to talk about on my channel, but I want people to know that it can harm you and others as well. Your family needs you. Your family loves you. I love you. Today was the day I would purchase my very first Kate Spade purse. I bought my first purse. I know it's not a Chanel or anything like that, but it's the beginning of hopefully to that road. I'm so excited. Okay, oh, by the way, I also bought a matching wallet. I love you so much, and it's pink. Here is my new Kate Spade purse, pink, and it's so clueless-like, so I really like it. I'm really excited. I have a clean room now, and thanks again, Bears, for watching my videos and everything that you do. I see all of you guys. I try and talk to all you guys, but come on, Hazel, 1 second, just one second, just, Hazel! Tori V, holler at me. Bye-bye, Bears.